Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you all again. I hope everybody's feeling nice and warm and cozy. This is a reminder how cold it can get in the high desert. So try to take this moment of chill and carry it through the summertime when it's 110, 115. Anyway, it's good to have a good range of experience. So welcome to College Day, or College Day, All College, February. I want to ask, who was so kind to put the little Valentine's treats at each of the tables? Who's responsible for that?
Probably Amanda.
Sorry. I think I'm just going to take it off. How's that? Is that better? Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. And thank you, Amanda. Thanks for also getting through for everybody. So again, we have a full agenda, and I just want to remind people that the way we identify the items for the agenda for these all-college meetings is from our President Shared Governance Council. That group, which has representatives from each of our constituent groups, comes together and thinks what's important for everybody to hear. So that's how we got the agenda that we have again today. First up, I would like to welcome our curriculum chair, Kiri Freeman, to give an update on all of the hard work that's happening with curriculum. Thank you. Do you want to hold it or walk around? Or this will just take a minute.
Hi, everybody. So a lot of the great work that has been done recently has not been done by myself. And the first person I want to give a big thanks to is Melissa Madison. She's hiding away in the backyard. I wasn't able to be at Friday's meeting because I had another obligation. She stepped in heroically. Something else that was not done by me is all of our courses got added to COKI. That is the Chancellor's office. That was done heroically and in a short amount of time and with a great amount of effort. So I want to thank everybody who was involved in that project. I'd also like to thank Jamie, our articulation officer, for continuing to submit all our courses for CID and for general ed certification and all the hard work that she's doing. The two things that you need to know about that curriculum has done is that we did approve a form for new courses. So if you are just now creating a course, or if you created a new course last fall, you are going to want to fill out the new course form as soon as Academic Senate is done approving it, which we trust that they will. Just to be very, very clear, if your course went through last year, right, a year ago, last spring, that went through on Curricunet, you do not need to fill out the new course form, even if by some happenstance it was not taught yet. You don't need to fill out the new course form. We already looked at your new course documentation. You don't need to do that again. So this is only for something that was created last fall or has been being created now. The other form that went through on Friday and will now be going to Academic Senate is the course modification form. So that will be for some of the changes that you're going to be making to courses. Not any changes that you made in the fall to go on the new course outline of record form. Those have all gone through and been approved. Our big drama for this spring is going to be resubmitting and recertifying our program certificates and degrees, including our ABTs. Karen, did you have anything you wanted to say about this? Anything I'm missing? Okay, that's my update. Yes, Ms. Nancy.
Taking the forms to start the certificates and degrees.
That is kind of our next progress benchmark. Now, some of them, such as the ADTs, are very much dictated by the state. Other ones, we're going to talk about what we need to create. I think that might even be a conversation that we're going to have at 2 p.m. this afternoon in my meeting with Karen. Guided pathways, also the guided pathways that you've been creating, such as we created at the retreat, is going to have some input into that. So I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that one coming up soon. Other questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much. Our Academic Senate president is actually next. Come on up.
brought my sidekick. I'm just going for the ride.
Well, no, you'll find out live. Okay, so I wanted to talk about guided pathways. We had a very successful faculty retreat. Kimberly Anderson came and shared some very good information on guided pathways and shared forms that faculty will be able to use as we move forward. We've also selected guided pathway facilitators, 6 counseling faculty and 6 instructing faculty. Yay, team. Guys, raise your hands. If you're a facilitator and you're here, please raise your hands. Thank you so much. The guided pathway liaison for our college will be Beverly Ranney. That's why she's up front here. Even though we work diligently at the faculty retreat, faculty have quite a bit to continue working on. As we begin to build our pathways, facilitators will be there to guide and support, as well as participating in scheduling as we meet with our respective deans, Lisa Holmes, Heather Meinhardt, and EVP Karen Kane. We have quite a few trainings that are available for our facilitators to attend. We aren't all able to go at the same time, so please note that when information goes out, to respond in a timely manner. We had 3 facilitators attend a training yesterday in LA. We have more going on March 4th and 5th to the Inland Empire Summit, and there's another training in Ontario on March 11th, but it's my understanding that there needs to really be more than 1 or 2 people going to make it more beneficial, because they have a lot of planning that takes place with the teams from the college. With that said, what I really want to emphasize once again to all faculty is that Guided Pathways is very much under Academic Senate 10+1 in regards to number 1, curriculum, number 2, degree and certificate requirements, number 4, educational program development, and number 5, standards or policies regarding student preparation and success. All of these, which are an intricate component of Guided Pathways. We will be leading Guided Pathways, and we will be working collegially with other components of our college. We are very much aware that this is a whole college effort. Thank you.
No, for the next song and dance, it's me and Christina. So it's good.
Here. I was saying it is.
Okay, so it is our, well, today we're going to be talking about just an update on program review, where it is, where it's going, and also about the resource allocation that we're going to be doing for this year. Okay, so if you don't know anything about program review, you probably figured out that we're not doing a formal program review for this year. Okay, and the committee is working, had a couple of meetings in the fall, but really thought that the biggest thing that we really need to do and find and know is our strategic priorities. So that needed to be really worked on first, because that's going to drive program review. That is something that is an all-college effort. Every single person here has a place in those strategic priorities, and also making sure that it gets done, that we get measured, and all of our student success is really driven through that. And that's what drives program review. So we took a little bit of a hiatus so that that can be done, you know, like we had all of those meetings, everybody saw it, went through the board, so that we can make sure that that's really something that we really need to focus on. So now we're having meetings between Beverly, myself, and Karen about what our program review is going to be, and the questions that we're going to be asking that are going to be very different than the questions that we had asked before, how to lead everybody in every department into understanding what their place is in those strategic priorities, and how we can create goals, outcomes that actually are based on those priorities. And then through that, we will be able to ask for enhanced funding, so that through those program reviews, through our outcomes, we want to grow, we want to advance all of those things, that we're going to be doing it through the program review. But we also noticed, of course, we're not doing a formal program review. So how are we going to do budget allocations coming for this year for this type of money? So one thing that we're going to do is that everybody really should have a meeting with their manager, director, dean. So there's going to be big meetings about what are our strategic priorities, what are we trying to do, what are we trying to look at, or how are we trying to grow? And then for this year, it will be a little bit more informal. We will have a forum that each department will make up. And then we'll have a meeting with all of our deans and directors to really look at those priorities and what those budget allocations are right now for this current year. Before program review, we will start having formal meetings with our program review committee so that we can start teaching these new questions, these new way of doing program review so it's more meaningful. Starting here in the spring, we're going to have like a pilot, a program review that we're going to be doing, and then it's not going to be finalized until the fall, but it's something that we can start right now within the coming months so that we can learn what it is, have that rough draft, learn how to actually, what needs to be going into it and what questions we really need to talk about. And also, how are we going to make sure that everybody understands what a program review is? So it's not just one person working on the program review, it's everybody, and everybody has a place. So that's where we're at.
That sounds good.
So that's where we are with program review.
You want me to sing and dance for you?
I do.
So this is Jessica, and she's here to tell us about Caring Campus. It's as good as it gets.
So tomorrow is the second coaching session for Caring Campus. For those of you that attended before, we really appreciate it if you could take the time out of your day and be there. I know that I pushed the homework. We don't have to do it. Yay, there was too much confusion. They weren't getting what they wanted on other campuses, so they're gonna come tomorrow and we're gonna move forward with implementation and we'll work on the homework with our coach here. So remember, 8 o'clock, we have breakfast. We'll also serve you guys lunch afterwards. So yay, tomorrow here, 8 a.m. See you then.
Wow, so I like the new format where people just introduce one another. That's great. So given that, however, I'd like to just step back and kind of circle back to some of the presentations that have been given so far. First of all, just thank everybody for taking ownership of these different important items for our college. First of all, again, thanking the faculty for their work on curriculum, the foundational work of the courses. Kiri's talking about, I love the word that she used, the drama for spring is going to be certificates, ADTs, and programs. And all of this is foundational for guided pathways. So again, I would like to thank the faculty for having the open invitation to the retreat dinner that was, I can't even remember, it was a couple of weeks ago. Was it just a week ago? I can't remember. I'd say it's amnesia, start of dementia, but I think it's just the fact that we're moving so quickly on so many initiatives. But seriously though, do want to thank the faculty so much for taking the lead in developing that retreat and working on an initiative that, as I've mentioned before, is something that has taken a priority across the nation, definitely for our state, and I'm really proud of Barstow for embracing guided pathways. The faculty are owning curriculum development, and also would like to thank Jessica and Caring Campus, which just to let people know, Caring Campus is an initiative that's being piloted with just a couple of colleges. Ours is one of them. So we didn't have to do this, but we volunteered, and with Jessica's help and with classified staff, really the idea behind Caring Campus was acknowledging the fact that, as Nance had said, it's a college-wide effort for guided pathways to be successful, and it's to help classified staff to understand the important role that they play and administrators play in supporting faculty and students through the entire pathway of a student's journey, from start to finish to completion, and as our college has identified, transition out of certificates and degrees, and assisting them with transferring and assisting them with getting jobs afterwards. So we really take ownership in really the end goals for our students through guided pathways. So this work, colleges, all around the state have been at this for quite some time. And I think it's great that we've really stepped up, we've accelerated our efforts, and we're right there with everybody else in making this work for our college, for our students. So thank you all for that. Program review, thank you, Christina. It was a really great description and Bev of what we're doing. And I just want to highlight that taking stock of our processes like program review is very common. It's good, it's healthy that we step back, we take a hiatus, and we assess how it's working and how we can modify it. And I think for a small college like ours, the way we're approaching it now, where we're really emphasizing the opportunities to step back, look at our strategic plan, allow people to digest it and make sense of it for themselves, for their own departments, because far too often, and I think, most of the time, strategic plans, there's a lot of energy that goes into their development. Once they're written, they sit on a shelf and they don't often inform our everyday practice. And that's where I think we lose opportunities to really make gains based on all of the effort that goes into the development of these plans. So I think we have a great opportunity where people are really enthusiastic about sharing their ideas on how to improve processes and do things better for our departments and for our students. And that's what this is all about. We have a high-level plan, which will mean nothing unless people don't understand it and embrace it and feel comfortable, everybody in all of their departments feeling comfortable that your voices are heard. And, you're the ones who grapple with the day in, day out. And, it's just your nature to try and make things work better and more efficiently. And that's what this process is going to be about, is each area identifies where you're headed towards the overall objectives and that you have input to your managers. And then that floats up into conversations about, where do we need to augment resources for different departments to achieve our collective goals. So that's what we're looking at. And I hope that this process that's more informal, that's based more on dialogue and a back and forth, that becomes the experience that then we sort of take our learnings and streamline it and create a form that will just facilitate that process. But it's really in the conversation that we have, listening to one another and coming together on how we're going to address our goals. That's what makes things really work. So I appreciate the leadership for the program review committee in making this work, and then we'll look at how to most wisely spend our resources for our collective goals. Let's see. So number 6 on our agenda is community involvement. And I think I have notes up here. It's up here. Did someone? There, Christina. That's okay. That's okay. So about community involvement, really what I wanted to say about this is going back to our strategic plan. There's 4 strategic priorities. 2 of them have to do with community building. One is sort of internal community building, where we create a supportive climate. We respect and listen to one another's ideas so that we can work well together, and that's kind of the program review thing that we're talking about. But there's also another community-oriented priority. It's strategic priority number 2, and the way that it's worded in our strategic plan, we call it Ignite a Culture of Learning and Innovation. The commitment beneath that strategy says that we are to transform the community by leading strategic partnership development and action to achieve collective impact. And really, I just want to highlight that, first of all, I know that many of you contribute to the Barstow community in many ways. You volunteer your time. I see you at community events, whether it's Rotary or the Barstow Chamber. You volunteer, you're very generous of spirit, and that really contributes to the health of our community, and it projects well for our college because you're employees of the college. as a collective college and through this strategy, I just want to highlight that we are being very deliberate and very intentional about being a leader in the community, because we have to recognize that our college, through education, we are a key factor, a key component in this whole engine that drives the vitality, the health of Barstow. It's based on the economy. The quality of life in Barstow, we all know the value of education and what it can do for individuals, for families, through education, getting jobs. We have the economic development arm of our college, through the work that Sandy Thomas and CTE folks do. We know that people are getting jobs through those efforts. They're transferring, whether they're getting jobs here or elsewhere. That's all good for our community. But I just want to highlight some of the other things that we're being very deliberate about, because the well-being of our college also depends on the well-being of Barstow. So things like, let's see, I've got them listed here. So I've mentioned the workforce training, economic development efforts, the things that happen regularly, that have been happening for a long time, like the CTE car show happened a few months ago. That brings people to State Street. They can see what we're doing there. The annual CTE youth program, we're going on the 11th year. This provides an opportunity for young people to visit State Street, look at CTE, and to envision what they might be able to do in coming to college, not just book learning, but also using their hands. Great experience, because those young kids are the future students that come here. Lots of outreach that happens through our college, working with the unified school districts. We have that with the Barstow College Promise. We have that with our Barstow Area Consortium for Adult Education. I've seen in so many communities where colleges, they point blame at high schools for the incoming lack of preparedness of students. And that just doesn't work. It's a social challenge that we've got young people who are struggling and need developmental support. So instead of pointing blame, we lock arms and we work together with our partners, and we see the benefits of that through the College Promise. We have all the athletic events. You've seen there's been a great deal of effort to bring high school kids up here, youngsters, to join in the athletic experiences here. Again, you bring them up here, they feel more comfortable at college, and we promote a sense of, just fun and support behind our athletes. So we're seeing a real turnaround there. Another couple of important events that I want to highlight, and you can note down, Barstow's Chamber of Commerce has a subcommittee, and I want to note that Elena Rivera, you're the chair of the board of directors of the Barstow Area Chamber of Commerce. So we have people wearing multiple hats. Elena, there's a subcommittee, the Economic Development Subcommittee of the Chamber, that is looking at economic development and also really grappling with some of the social challenges in Barstow. They've been talking a lot about homelessness. They've been talking about crime. So one of the things that's happening on February the 28th, there is a town hall discussion, a panel discussion addressing safety in our community. And I'm really proud that Amanda Simpson, our PIO, she's been partnering with the PIO of Barstow Unified and Mojave United Way and the Chamber to develop promotional materials to highlight this event, where all of you are welcome to come and talk about safety in our community, because it's been a rising concern of some recent tragic losses of life in our community that we're coming together to address. So again, we are a part of that. We also have, on April 5th, will be the second annual Be Well Health and Fitness Fair. Lyle, you and your staff have been working really hard with a number of people on a committee. This is a wonderful thing. And, originally the idea for this Be Well, Lyle's looking with faculty and staff to look at how we can, as a college, decrease our medical costs. And and he was looking at a model from Stanford University where through a program like Be Well, I think it's Stanford Well at Stanford, we could adopt a model like that where we educate everybody, and basically that's a way to decrease the cost of our medical coverage. That was the original idea. Of course, the long-term benefit of this is that we learn from this event, we become a healthier college community, and we invite community members to also have the benefits of this wonderful event where people can have all kinds of health assessments from doctors in our area. We had great reviews last year, and I'm really looking forward to what comes of it again this year. Another wonderful event, is Michelle Bond here today with our veterans group, our veterans coordinator? Okay. I was going to talk about it more. Oh, okay, wonderful, Jen. So just, you can say more about it. I'm just going to highlight that April the 11th, the college is hosting a Veterans Connection resource fair. Again, now this is really being led by the Barstow Community Coalition. A number of you are involved with that group. It's a collection of nonprofits in Barstow to try and come together and coordinate efforts to help with just all of the social health needs of our community members. But the idea for this event is to really support veterans and create an environment, a day where they can come and have resources for them, but also to feel just like normal, right? That they're not being treated like patients that need medical care, but as individuals who can experiment and be exposed to a variety of different resources that the community makes available to them to assimilate and for them to feel well supported. So again, just really proud that we can be a part of these kinds of events that promote the near term and eventually the long-term well-being of our community. So I want to thank all of you. Many of you have devoted hours to these kinds of activities. And it just speaks very highly of the caliber of individuals and commitment that you all make to our college and our community. So thank you for that. Joanna, did you want to say more about that event? I don't know if you've been attending the recent meetings. Oh, sorry. Okay, so then we're moving on to the next agenda item. Sorry about that. I didn't know if you were attending, because I know we have many folks attending that. So come on up and speak on behalf of Michelle.
Projector died. No, the clicker didn't die.
Okay, I can just talk about it without the projector. Hello, everyone. My name is Joanna Escalante. I know many of you, but for those who don't know me, I am the new educational advisor under Basic Needs. Some of the things I deal with are homeless students, our foster youth students, and I also work closely with the food pantry. So I'm actually here to talk to you today a little more about a food pantry giving campaign that we're having. And perfect timing. So I don't know how many of you guys know, but we have a food pantry on campus that serves all of our students, regardless of any programs that they're in. They can come and get a daily lunch bag, and they can also come and get weekly pantry items to supplement their groceries. I'm going to talk to you now about food insecurity. According to the John Burton's Advocate for Youth website, 2 in 3 students at the California community colleges experience food insecurity. Food insecurity can be described as a household's lack of ability to provide enough food to everybody in their household to live an active and healthy life. The effects of food insecurity on students it can be really harmful and detrimental to their studies and their everyday life. Over at the sign-in counter, we have some of these flyers that you guys can take with you. It has the days and times that the food pantry is open. We're open Monday through Friday. Here's all the times, and we also provide food pantry anytime to any students that are special program students. The food pantry has been used 428 times alone since we opened up January 7th for our spring semester, and the numbers are rising.
With that being said, the food pantry needs your help. Right now, the food pantry is funded by money from the Chancellor's Office, our equity department, and other donations from community members. In order to sustain our pantry, we're asking that everybody, from the kindness of your heart, sign up for a payroll deduction where you can donate as little as $5, $10 a month directly to our food pantry. So we have these handouts on your tables. It has more information on the food pantry on the front page. And the second page is the actual contribution form that you can fill out and return to the business office. One thing I want to point out on the form is that you have to specify that you want the money to go directly to the food pantry in order for the money to go to the food pantry. If you have any other questions, you can come speak to me or anybody in special programs and services about the employee giving campaign. And we also collect donations of non-perishable food items. If you have any food items that you want to donate, you can contact myself, and my contact information is on the flyer, or you can contact anybody in special programs and services. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanna. So now we have some announcements, and we would like to give the floor to our ASG. Fabian, are you going to speak on behalf of students? Wonderful. Our student trustee, Fabian.
Well, Happy New Year, Happy Chinese New Year, whoever's out there saying this. We all had some good Chinese food, right? It was really good. So I'm here to speak about our events. Actually, one is tomorrow. It's our biannual blood drive. In October, we actually collected 45 pints of blood. So we would like you to come out tomorrow, or just like inform your students that they are going to be here on campus from 9 to 6. And if they donate, they actually get a little coupon of Jack in the Box if you like Jack in the Box or students are hungry, as they just mentioned. Let's see, what else? I apologize. Also, we want, do you guys know about the basketball program, right? Of course, we're giving out free spirit items every time you come. So we had over 150 students, staff, and faculty on the first night, which actually helped the Vikings beat our rival, the Victorville College. So that was good to see everyone there. It was awesome. Lastly, I want to talk about our Viking volunteer program. We actually did get some more students that have signed up. I've actually saw one myself with my own eyes. I was very surprised. She is volunteering in the Promise program. And we also have these two students here who actually benefited from the Viking volunteer program, and they would like to talk about their experience and what they learned.
Hi guys, my name is Maria Castro, and I'm currently a student worker with Joanne Garcia at the Student Life and Development. And for my experience, actually this is my second semester, so I'm like a newbie. But as a student worker, I find out about all these things, and I think it's awesome how I get to share my experience with the rest of the students, and I get to announce all these activities that we have done. So
How did the program help you?
Oh, and it helps me because communication. I go through a lot of communication, and it's something I need for my future, and not only that, but professionalism. So I learned a lot of that. And then I was talking about networking, so I get to speak with all you guys and just new people in general.
Another thing about the program, I believe President Dye was talking about the guided pathways and how we want our students to transfer and also find jobs in the local community. And this, the Viking Volunteer Program actually does give our students an opportunity to network without not just the community college, but other places on campus. I mean, around the community. So that's very great because we see a lot of our students who graduate, but they always leave because there's no jobs. Well, right? That's what people say. That's what we do leave. So we hope that this program gets more students involved on campus and outside of campus. So if you could let them know, send them to Joanne Garcia. And also the program will also show on the students' transcripts. So it gives recognition to them. A lot of students do a lot of things, but there's no recognition for them at all. So it's actually going to show up on your transcript that you did community service, and it should show the amount of hours, I believe. And lastly, we also have free tax preparation for the students that you can send them. I believe the next one is on the 25th, so it's all free for students. You can tell them, send them. It's going to be in the game room on the 25th, 2 to 7. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabian. And Joanne, I just want to thank you for this volunteer program. You know, it really fits in with what we were talking about, community development. And, you know, as a student had said, there's nothing, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, but I'll circle back to say hello to you and hear a little bit more about your experience. But, you know, there's really nothing better than the applied experiences that we get. I always used to say when I was teaching my anthropology classes that human beings, one of the hallmarks of being human is our ability to learn. And we've been doing that for several hundred thousands of years before schools were ever in existence. And we're pretty good at it. We've just learned to formalize it and to make it more where people get more of it more quickly in our schools. But learning happens all of the time. It's just how it is that we try to direct that learning. So the volunteer work, I think, is a very deliberate way of helping students to communicate better, to network, and to understand what outside the world, what the needs are, and how we can learn to adapt to and fill those needs, thereby making us valuable contributors to our community and also valuable potential employees. So this is a wonderful program. I love that it's being added to students' transcripts. Makes it really easy and validates for transfer institutions and employers the good work that our students are doing. So wonderful program, kudos, and I look forward to hearing more about students who participated in that. Next, without further ado, where's our Pac-Man?
And now, live from Barstow Community College's Performing Arts Center, the center of the known universe. Please welcome the Performing Arts Center manager, Pac-Man and Randall.
Thank you. I'm a graduate of the Karen Kane School of Enthusiastic Announcements. How'd I do, boss? Okay, good, very good. Thank you. We're wrapping up Charlie Brown right now. We've been at it for 2 weeks. We have 2 more weeks of performances, and by the end of that, we will have performed for 2,270 school-age children from private schools, from charter schools, Barstow Unified, and Silver Valley Unified. So we have a cast of 12 that are just going. I see Pigpen right out here. They are all Barstow Community College kids. So how's that for community involvement? So that is amazing. We're very, very pleased. If you would like to catch a performance, they perform at 9:30 in the morning. It's a 45-minute show. And then we take all the kids on a tour of the Performing Arts Center and teach them a song in a band room, go over to the dance studio, teach them a little dance to it, and we bring them on the stage, one classroom at a time, and we throw every single light we own on them, and they perform so that the chaperones, parents, and teachers can take some video evidence, souvenir footage for them to take back to the classroom. So that's been a fun experience and a great thing for the kids. February 22 through 24, 2 weeks from this weekend, we have Steel Magnolias coming. They are Child's Play Productions. It is our local community theater, and they have been triple cast. So if you come Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or all three, you'll see a different show because it's triple cast. A different cast on Friday that's doing it from Saturday, and a whole brand new cast on Sunday. The whole thing is being directed by Cameron Blake, who is a teacher at Montara Elementary School. He took over when, unfortunately, we lost Jenny Wellinger back in September, who had instigated this whole thing. So February 22 through 24, Steel Magnolias. Then on March 1st, a Friday, please come and see Vocal Flash. If you like pentatonics or that kind of singing, high-powered, high-energy show, it'll be great. March 1, pentatonics. And then April 5 through 14, we have Brigadoon, the Theater Arts Department and Callboard Club are presenting Brigadoon. And tickets are $14, $12, and $10 for that. So come out and see that. And then our closing act for the year is May 10, and that will be a tribute band of the group Journey called Escape. So come and see that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, that's about all I got. Is that enough? We've had a great year. So please come and see some of these shows.
Thank you, Ed. And clearly, you know, we have a beautiful facility here, but the work that Ed does to bring in a lot of the talent, and of course our theater arts department, Callboard Club, you know, I hear in the community all the time how people just really look to the college for those great experiences of all ages, and it's very special. Thank you, Ed. And couldn't beat that sort of self-introduction. Wonderful. So at this point, we have open mic. We have a few minutes, and you know, I realize that we talk a lot at the audience here, and I just want to give you a chance. If anybody has questions about anything we've talked about or anything at all, I want to open it up. Or if anybody has any other announcements or any acknowledgments, got something.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to invite you all to a video screening of Unlikely. It's going to be this month, the 20th, and it's a film that's a documentary that features 5 individuals who were failed by the higher education system and their fight for a second chance at opportunity. The film investigates America's college dropout crisis and the barriers students face in the pursuit of an education and a meaningful career. So we're asking if you do have the times. It's a little bit early because it is a film. So it's going to be showing at 11 o'clock here in the main theater. It's going to go to 12:45, and then afterwards we're going to have a meet and greet with one of the actors in the film, and lunch is provided to everybody. We do have Student Success and Equity has provided buses and lunch for anybody from the local Varsity Unified School District that wants to come. I know right now STEM is having all of their 8th graders come, so they're going to be bused here as well. But it's a really great movie. If you go to the Unlikely website and you even just see the trailer, I mean, some people are like listening to the trailer and they're like, oh my gosh, like it's really like heartbreaking, but it's also a lot of full of hope on how we can actually help our students get through higher education and all of the barriers that they face. So I would encourage everybody to come to the screening of this film. Again, it's going to be on February 20th. It starts at 11 o'clock, and the film itself is 11 to 12:45. Thanks.
I have 2 things very quickly. One is a lot of you in this room have experienced or seen an increase in some disciplinary issues since we started January 7th. So just know that you have a lot of support to correct what's going on in terms of people in the special programs area, in the counseling area, The deans are aware of discipline and discipline processes. But sometimes, like this morning, something came up around 7:15. And I want to thank M&O for the part that they play when no one else is on campus. But if you are feeling a little stressed or uneasy about some things that are happening in or out of your classroom, please call the Student Services office and talk to us, because we are working with the faculty and with special programs and other areas to try to figure out how to mitigate this, to support our students, but to support you through this so that you don't feel uneasy or uncared for. And I think we'll talk more about that as we move forward. And the other thing I wanted to say is a little bit more upbeat. Fabian did a really good job of talking about the athletic outreach that we're doing, but on Tuesday, February 19th is the last doubleheader of the men's and the women's games. And we're hoping that a lot of you who haven't had an opportunity to come yet will come, because it's sophomore night. And that's the night that we honor our sophomores who will be leaving, and this will be one of their last games. And the idea is for anyone who attends to get a t-shirt, and then we will be part of honoring the sophomores, both men and women, at their respective games. And if you have more questions about this, we can always call Amanda Simpson or email her, or you can talk to me or other people who have been very involved in the outreach efforts. Joanne is one. So there's a lot of offices where you can ask the questions, but it's another opportunity to show support for our students.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elena Rivera. I am the Foster and Kinship Care Education Program Coordinator, and I'm housed over at CTE. However, today I wanted to speak for just a moment as the Barstow Area Chamber of Commerce Chairperson of the Board of Directors. I want to let you know that I'm so happy to hear that Dr. Begg is deliberately working to bridge the relationships with the community. It's so important for the community to learn about all the great things that you're doing. And with Amanda Simpson, we are getting flyers out there to the business community as well as other residents that have signed up for the weekly e-blast. So if you have some type of event, please give the flyer to Amanda, send it to Amanda, and request for it to be sent over to the chamber. The Barstow Area Chamber is always looking for volunteers and people to connect. And I know some of you folks don't live in the Barstow area, but in order to connect with the Barstow students, you might want to kind of tune in a little bit more of what's going on, because there's a lot of great things happening in Barstow. I want to highlight that within the group here, I could say there's people connected with service clubs and other organizations in Barstow that's making this a better place to live, work, and play. For example, I'm involved, one of the many roles that I have in the community, with the Rotary International. We have Ed Will as the president of Rotary. And then we also have, we just had the Community Recognition Awards this last week, and it was held here, and so many people came that had never been to the Performing Arts Center, and they were quite impressed and like, wow, you know, so little by little, we need to draw in people. But I want to also highlight that if you don't know, Dr. Paul A. Courtney got Man of the Year for Barstow. And as a Rotarian, I want to just like give my little buzz here that we are going to roast him. So if you're would like to be entertained, March 30th, we're having a special dinner where Dr. Paul A. Courtney is going to be roasted and toasted. Yeah. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Elena. I really appreciate you. I wanted to comment on and congratulate Dr. Courtney for his award, Man of the Year. I also wanted to let folks know that at that event, the college has a Student of the Year. And this year it was Viviano Toledo, who's a CTE student in welding, has a certificate, associate's degree that he earned. And we learned that he was just offered a job at Barstow Unified as a welder. So there we just see the immediate benefits. But when I talked to Viviano right before I introduced him to the audience, I asked him what was really the most meaningful part of his experience. And for you faculty, I just want you to hear this. For him, it was his experience with Roland O'Neill, his instructor. And he just said how he was a mentor to him and that he wanted to be just like him, that he taught him everything that he knew. And I thought that was just, it came from the heart. It was so sweet, and really want to acknowledge for Viviano, his instructor, who made this a reality for him. And also the Dean, Sandy Thomas, and the whole program there, working so hard to help students. So anyway, just he's a wonderful young man, and he's a product of Barstow Community College. And now, Brenda Fidley. Perhaps you've seen the new copiers all around campus. They've all been upgraded. So I just wanted to put it out there. We are going to have the person that does the training will be on campus on Thursday. He'll be getting here at 10 o'clock. I think he's going to start in academic affairs, where a lot of you go to make your copies, and be there from 10 to 11, after which he's going to institutional research and then a few other places. But if you wanted an opportunity to find out more about these copiers and the cool things they can do, and you can come by at 10. If that doesn't work for you and you want to send me an email, I'll see if I can work out something that does work with your schedule so that you don't miss out on the great copiers. Thanks. Anybody else have any announcements, anything? Yes.
Yeah, I think I can yell on that. Where else to go? I just wanted to thank Elsa and Eric for representing CTE at the Silver Valley High School career fair this morning.
Always things going on. So I think that's it, other than to say that at the back table, if you're interested, I think in the town hall, community safety awareness event. I think Amanda says there's flyers in the back, and I think the athletic events. Is there a flyer back there as well? So if you're interested in any of those and want to make sure that you have the right date, location, and time, please feel free to grab a flyer in the back. And thanks to Amanda and Amir for creating those for us. So with that, I wish you all a good Tuesday afternoon and a great week, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks a lot for coming.